Hi guys! Welcome to the very first episode of Melanie on Demand. Today, I will be sharing with you a more detailed information about our application. Pag-uusapan natin kung bakit ko ba pinili ang student to PR pathway of immigration here in Canada. And I will briefly discuss the process. I will show you our timeline para magkaroon kayo ng idea kung ano-ano yung mga pagdadaanan nyo should you decide to follow this route. In this episode, it will have two videos. The first video in this video, pag-uusapan natin yung application process while outside Canada. And for the second video, sa next video, I will share with you our experience as a student and worker to permanent residents here in Canada. So let's get started! Una-una, I would like to thank my family and friends for supporting my channel, especially now na nagsisimula pa lang ako. Matagal-tagal ko na rin gustong simulan yung YouTube channel, pero maraming excuses, busy sa work, sa life in general. Pero finally, I am here, I got started. Gusto ko talagang tulungan yung mga interested sa pathway na to kasi I remember being on their shoes nung nagsisimula pa lang ako. And it's hard to find videos na related mismo sa topic and related sa case ko. So, I usually go to websites, blogs, or forums kung saan nakakabasa ako ng information about sa study permit process sa Canada. I think sa ngayon, mas marami ng vloggers na nag-share ng experience nila about studying in Canada, working in Canada. And it's great kasi first-hand experience yun and you will really learn a lot from them. And that's also the same thing na gusto kong mangyari sa channel ko. I hope it helps you sa application, sa pag-aaral, and sa pag-a-apply for permanent resident. And if this channel will help you, please consider subscribing. A lot of my friends are curious about the process, so tinutulungan ko sila by answering their questions. And most of them, they are encouraging me na gumawa ng channel para makatulong ako sa mas maraming applicants as possible. And having said that, guys, just a disclaimer, hindi po ako immigration consultant. Ako po, nagdaan ako sa process na to from start to finish. And ang mga tips na i-share ko sa inyo, it's based on my understanding and my own experiences. So, please do your own research and check if these tips are applicable to your situation as well. Just a quick background about me. I graduated with a degree in chemistry sa UP Diliman. And OFW po ako. I worked in Dubai for 3 years. And then I moved to Singapore and I worked there for 6 years. And all of my work experiences, they are related to chemical laboratories. So, in line with my profession. Why did we choose Canada? So, nasa Singapore ako noon nung nagsimula ako mag-process ng papers ko for Canada. It was way back in 2016 nung naghanap ako ng opportunities outside Singapore. So don't get me wrong, guys, I love Singapore kaya nga nagstay ako ng 6 years doon. It's a great country, masarap yung food, safe environment, very efficient government and transportation. It was really a pleasant experience living in Singapore for 6 years. Pero I was looking for something more permanent for our future. Medyo mahirap kumuha ng permanent residence sa Singapore before, and I think it's still the same case until now. So, I was a worker and a temporary resident, and para sa mga susunod na taon, I think it will still be the same case. So, I wanted to change that. Kaya nagsimula akong maghanap ng ibang countries na pwedeng puntahan. Tiningnan ko ang Australia, New Zealand, US, and Canada, but eventually I zeroed in on Canada. I think sa case ko, ang biggest factor is meron kasi akong relative dito sa Alberta. Andito yung auntie ko. And she's encouraging us na tingnan yung lifestyle dito sa Canada. Sabi niya maganda daw ang healthcare, maganda rin ang education, and for my case, chemistry related yung profession ko, it's a high paying job here in Alberta dahil sa oil and gas industry. So we decided to take a look and see kung ano yung opportunity para sa amin dito. So, una-una, I searched the Government of Canada website kung paano mag-immigrate sa Canada. Maraming pathways to immigrate here. It's all listed in the website. I think ang pinaka-applicable sa akin ay yung Express Entry Program or EE program kung tawagin nila. This application process is for skilled immigrants who want to settle in Canada permanently. I have posted the link below so you can also read more about it. Yung EE system, this is like Job Street, pero for the purpose of Canada immigration. The candidate will make a profile and it will assign points based on eligibility criteria such as age, education, work experiences, and many others. Ang tawag doon sa points ay Comprehensive Ranking System Score or CRS score. Ito yung score na ginagamit ng Canada para i-rank ang mga applicants all over the world. The system selects the candidates who will be invited to apply for permanent residency. The higher the CRS score, the more likely you'll get invited to apply for permanent residence. So, I calculated my CRS score and I found out na mas mababa siya kaysa sa minimum cut-off ng nai-invite for PR. If you're interested to calculate your score, click the link in the description below. Nag-research ako kung paano mapapataas yung CRS score ko. Sa CRS calculator, nakita ko doon na even just 1 year of Canadian work experience can increase my score. So, I searched online for employers who are willing to hire me even if I was outside Canada. I went to Job Bank Canada and saw that most of the employers were hiring those who have valid work permits and already inside Canada. So, nag-research pa ako for other ways to bump my CRS score kasi wala nga ako sa Canada that time. This is where I started to look at a study to immigrate pathway dito. And ang idea is, mag-aaral ako sa Canada even for 1 to 2 years lang na course, then I will be eligible to work para after mag-aral. Sounds like a long way to go, pero when I did more digging, indeed, it is a good way to immigrate here in Canada. I've summarized the pros and cons here. Sa pros muna tayo. Unang-una, postgraduate work permit. Para to sa mga nakatapos mag-aral ng post-secondary school sa Canada. So either diploma or bachelor's degree or master's degree. So that means the graduate student will be able to work in Canada provided may makuhang job. And then after a year of Canadian experience, tataas ang score, ang CRS score, and more likely may invite for PR. Next, fast processing time. In less than a year, it is possible na makakuha ng study permit. So, makakapunta ka na kaagad sa Canada para mag-aral at masimulan ang journey to PR. Unlike yung mga nagpa-process ng express entry directly as landed immigrants, sometimes it takes them a lot of time and years para makapunta dito. Then, work while studying. International students are eligible to work part-time, 20 hours per week during school days, pero pag school holidays, habang walang classes, pwedeng mag-work full-time. So may source pa din ng income ang student kahit papano while nag-aaral. And speaking of source of income, spouse or common law partners of international student is eligible to work full-time under an open work permit. For me, isa ito sa pinakamagandang benefit ng study permit dito sa Canada. Habang nag-aaral yung student, the spouse can earn money for tuition and living expenses. As long as hindi magastos ang lifestyle, it is possible to save up for next semester's tuition kung may nagtatrabaho ng full-time. Ganyan ang diskarte namin ng husband ko and it worked. Para sa international students na may anak, your child or children might be able to study in Canada for free. Isn't that great? Buo pa rin ang family sa Canada. There are rules to this, so if you're interested, please refer to the link in the description box below. Next, high quality of education sa Canada. There's no doubt about it, Canada has one of the best education systems all over the world. So, hindi masasayang ang pera mo if you studied here. Also, Canada's universal healthcare is one of the best in the world. Kahit hindi ka pa PR, you can benefit from it basta legal resident ka dito. Do your own research about this and you'll be amazed. Promise. Another important thing is, as an international student and a temporary resident here in Canada, you'll be able to experience Canada firsthand kasi nandito ka na. This is one advantage ng temporary residents kaysa sa mga PR na kaagad pagdating dito sa Canada. You'll get the chance to see for yourself kung magugustuhan mo ba talaga. The cold weather, the culture, the way of life, and if for some reasons you didn't like it, pwede kang bumalik sa pinanggalingan mo after your permit. So okay lang. And one last thing but very important. Studying and working in Canada opens several permanent residence pathways for the student and the spouse. Remember yung Canadian work experience that I mentioned earlier? This also applies to the spouse. So, pwedeng yung CRS score ng spouse ang madagdagan and then siya ang maging main applicant sa PR application. Meron ding provincial nominee programs and other pathways to immigration that favors international students. Depende sa province. Sa cons naman. Unang-una, being an international student in Canada is expensive. For diploma programs pa lang, 1 or 2 year programs, tuition fee can vary from anywhere from 6,000 Canadian dollars to roughly 10,000 Canadian dollars per semester. So, in a 1-year program, may 2 semesters. So, 2-year programs naman, may 4 semesters. So, do the math. Medyo mahal talaga. Plus, you'll need to have money to support your living expenses. I found this helpful website that helps you calculate the estimated cost to study a specific program here in Canada. Check the link in the description box below. Another thing, mataas ang tax dito sa Canada. OFW ako from Dubai and Singapore, kung saan very minimal ang tax na binabayaran ko dati. Sa Canada, there are 2 taxes na kailangang bayaran, federal tax and provincial tax. It can vary anywhere from 20% to 40% depende sa sahod. Para sa akin, disadvantage to nung una. Scary yung high percentage pero nung naintindihan ko na yung process, I realized that it was not too bad. For the most part, mas mataas naman din kasi ang sahod dito compared sa ibang bansa. So, ang net pay is still higher. And with all the refund and benefits na natatanggap ng mga residents dito, permanent man o temporary residents, I personally think that the taxes are worth paying. Next is the cold weather. Kung sanay tayo sa Pinas na tropical weather, dito sa Canada, it can be super cold, like minus 50 degrees Celsius cold. Super lamig, mas malamig pa sa freezer. It is difficult to go to school and to work during this weather. So talagang malaking adjustment, lalo na sa mga baguhan. Pero you'll get used to it eventually. We did. Susunod naman is the distance and time gap sa Pinas. This can really be a hindrance for some people, but not for everyone. Kung may family kayong naiwan sa Pinas, like may anak, malayo sa Canada, matagal ang biyahe and magastos umuwi. Then, opposite time zone. Kung umaga sa Pinas, dito naman gabi, so catching up with your loved ones can be really challenging. Posible na ma-homesick. Next, different culture, different lifestyle. This can either be an advantage or disadvantage, depende sa tao. In terms of food, medyo mahirap makahanap ng food na nakasanayan na sa Pinas, especially if nasa rural part ka ng Canada. Kung nasa cities naman, maraming Pinoy store na pwedeng bilhan at Pinoy restaurants na pwedeng kainan. Kaya lang, expensive. In terms of language naman, during adjustment period, medyo mahirap makipag-usap ng English all the time, pero eventually, masasanay din naman. Tapos, dito, seasonal din ng activities. Usually, pag winter, some people find it boring kasi di masyadong makagala sa labas dahil super lamig. Pero, bumabawi din naman during spring, summer, and fall. Lastly, going back to school can be hard. Especially if sobrang tagal nang hindi nakapag-aral at nasanay ng magtrabaho. Mahirap sa simula pero masasanay din eventually. Another challenging thing is to balance school and part-time work. Most of the matured students na kilala ko, nahihirapang mag-adjust lalo na kung may part-time work while studying. And on top of that, pag may kasamang anak dito sa Canada, napakamahal ng childcare. So, yung spouses, they have to juggle their time para mabantayan ang anak at makapag-aral and makapagtrabaho at the same time. So, teamwork talaga. So, pagkatapos i-analyze yung both sides of the story, para sa amin, yung pros ay mas matimbang kaysa sa cons. So, nagtuloy kami sa pag-a-apply for study permit. Ang susunod naman, tingnan natin yung timeline namin. Hinati ko ang timeline namin into two major parts. Part 1, study and open work permit application, and Part 2, international student to permanent resident. Sa bidyong ito, we will discuss the first part, which is the study and open work permit application. I will briefly discuss the process na pinagdaanan namin, and then we'll look closely how these steps were carried out in our timeline. Reminder lang na overview pa lang ito ng whole process. With each step, marami pang dapat i-consider. If you want to read more about it, please follow the link below, which will lead you to the Government of Canada website, and it has all the information that you'll need for the application. Also, I will be discussing sa susunod kong mga videos, so please make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Ito yung summary ng steps na pinagdaanan namin. First, we secured a letter of acceptance from a school in Canada. Before applying for LOA, I made sure that I did my research on which province, city, school, or program ang target ko and kung kailan ko gustong simulan ang pag-aaral ko sa Canada. I also checked the eligibility requirements for the specific program and the expenses like tuition fees, cost of living, and any other cost associated with it. Ito yung first step ng application process. You need a proof of acceptance from a Canadian school. This school should be able to accept you as an international student. The school has to be a designated learning institution para after ng program mo, you can be eligible for a postgraduate work permit or PGWP. I have posted the link in the description below about DLIs here in Canada. Depende sa eligibility requirement, there are schools and programs that require English language proficiency test like IELTS and CELPIP. And meron namang hindi kailangan ito. This is good kasi may choice ang student to not take the English test and still be able to come to Canada to study. However, guys, warning, I found that some aspiring students purposely avoid taking English tests by choosing a school and program na hindi nagre-require ng IELTS. Minsan, kahit hindi naman nila first choice yung program. So, medyo may problema dun, guys. Let me explain why. Unang-una, if you decide to study in Canada, you have to communicate in English. Lectures, reports, and exams, they are all conducted in English. Hindi mo kailangan ng perfect English, okay? But you have to be able to communicate verbally and in writing. Second, yes, you can get away with not taking an English test at this point, especially kung yung program mo hindi naman kailangan. Pero guys, take note that if you are following the student to PR pathway, kailangan mo pa rin mag-English test kasi kasama to sa requirement for permanent residence application. Pero I acknowledge that every situation is unique, so it's up to you, whatever you decide. Just make sure you look at the bigger picture. In my own opinion, if kailangan talaga ng program mo ang English test, I think it is best for you to study and prepare for yourself. Take the exam and let the score, not your fear, decide if it's a yes or a no for that program. Also, take note that most schools here in Canada charge application fees para makapag-request ng letter of acceptance. So, make sure you made up your mind before sending your application. Sometimes, meron ding mga school partners and promotions kung saan pwede kang mag-apply for free. So, look out for that. You can apply to multiple institutions or schools at the same time. Walang problema dun. In the end, just choose one program na gagamitin mo for your study permit application. Next, we apply for study permit and open work permit. We did this using our online account sa Canada Immigration website. Ito yung part na maasikaso, madaming documents na kailangan, and magastos. But if ikaw yung type na mahilig mag-research, masipag mag-asikaso ng documents, and you think you have the time to learn the process, it is possible to do it yourself. You'll save a lot of money with that. That's what we did for our application. Pero just a warning, it also depends if your application is straightforward or maraming complications. Every situation is different, so for some cases, hiring an immigration consultant might be a better option. I will be posting multiple tutorial videos about the study permit application process, so stay tuned. Study permit allows the student to study in Canada, plus depending on the restriction on the permit, it also allows the student to work part-time during school days and full-time during school holidays. Yung open work permit naman, OWP, this allows the spouse or common law partner of student to work full-time in Canada. Take note, this is called open work permit kasi hindi siya tied up to any employer in Canada. Kadikit siya ng study permit ng student. So, as long as the student is studying, pwedeng mag-work ang OWP holder. Then, if the application is approved, Citizenship and Immigration Canada or CIC will send approval letters. These documents are not yet the actual permits, but kailangan tong i-present sa Canada border upon arrival ng SP and OWP holders. So pagka nakuha nyo na yung approval letters, that's the time to book your tickets papunta sa Canada. Then upon arrival sa border, i-interviewin, and after the short interview and verification process, the study permit and open work permit documents will be issued at the border. Dahil walang interview sa application process, this is the first face-to-face encounter with the applicant and the visa officer. So in our case, it all started in Feb 2016. I applied for LOA from Southern Alberta Institute of Technology, or commonly known as SAIT, located in Calgary, Alberta. Ang program ko ay Chemical Laboratory Technology, which is a 2-year diploma program heavily focused on applied chemistry and instrumentation. I applied for fall 2016 semester intake, which was supposed to start in September 2016. Side note, dito nga pala sa Canada, majority of the schools may 3 semesters. Fall, winter, at spring. Fall semester starts in September. Winter semester starts in January. And spring semester, or sometimes they call it summer, starts in May. So I was hoping to start in September 2016, but I didn't get a letter of acceptance. Waitlisted lang ako sa program until September 2016. When I asked SATE about it, sabi nila this program is highly in demand. So mabilis mapuno yung slots. But if there are last-minute cancellations, they will pick from the waitlist. Kaya hindi rejected yung status ko. But that will not work for my case kasi I still need to process and apply the SP study permit before I can start school. So SATE advised me to apply for fall 2017, yung next year. So that's what I did. I watched out for the opening of fall 2017 application. Then I applied immediately. So that was October 2016. Finally, after 3 months of waiting, I got my LOA. So, tips sa mga gustong pumasok sa highly in-demand programs, apply as early as possible para hindi kayo maubusan ng slots. As you can see, I was eager to get into chemical laboratory technology kasi this program is related to my previous work experience. CLT diploma plus my foreign work experience, mas may edge ako compared to other graduates in terms of job hunting. This was proven to be true in my case. Hindi ako nahirapang maghanap ng summer job at ng work after graduation. So, if you are looking for a program to study, think about this strategy. On the other side, may mga students din naman kumuha ng totally different program from their work experience, but they still manage to find a job here in Canada after graduation. Again, each situation is unique, so it's really up to you to decide. Look at the economic part of your job and kung magugustuhan nyo ba yung bagong course na kukunin nyo. March 2017, when we submitted our application online for SP and OWP. 2 weeks later, our application was refused. Ibig sabihin nito, we were not given permits to study and work in Canada. It came with a refusal letter outlining the generic reasons why our application was rejected. Pero tuloy pa rin ang laban. A month later, nag-apply ulit ako online, but this time, single applicant muna ako. So, study permit lang. In my letter of explanation, I made sure na sinagot ko lahat ng refusal points sa application ko. Sa first application ko. And thank God, this time, my SP was approved. I will be posting a video on how I tackled the refusal points one by one. So if this is something you are interested in, make sure you're subscribed. After that, we submitted my husband's OWP application. And it took about a month of processing. Na-approve din siya. God is really good. Nakahabol pa siya sa start ng class. So, lumipad kami pa Canada on the 25th of August 2017. It was a long 30-hour flight from Manila to Japan to Vancouver, then finally to Calgary, Alberta, our final destination. Very smooth naman yung interview namin sa border. Nag-intay lang kami ng medyo matagal sa Vancouver kasi ang daming students nung time na dumating kami. But we did get the study permit and open work permit. All in all, it took us about 10 months to process our SP and OWP. That was from my second LOA application, October 2016, to our arrival in Canada on August 25, 2017. Take note guys, na-refuse pa ang application namin yan. So if your process is smooth and walang aberya, you can be in Canada in less than 10 months. So there you go, that's our timeline for SP and OWP application. Kung nagustuhan nyo yung pinag-usapan natin ngayon, guys, please give this video a like. And overview pa lang yan, guys. Hihimayin natin ng step-by-step information about that sa mga succeeding videos sa channel ko. So, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon para alam nyo kung nag-upload ako ng bagong videos. So, see you on my next episode sa part 2 kung saan pag-uusapan natin yung buhay namin sa Canada as a student and as a worker papunta sa permanent resident. So, this is Melanie On Demand. Thank you for watching. Bye!